Hi fellow reefers, I'm Eddie of Eddie's Reef for Korea. Today's video is on one of the latest acquisitions that I got from Worldwide Corals, Cyphastrea, the little green coral that you see there. As you know me, the people that follow me, I go ahead and every time I buy animal, whether it's fish, invertebrate, or a coral like today, I go ahead and I do a little mini research, nothing complicated, and I talk about it, the care requirements, the tips of how to keep it, and so on and so on. So today's video is all about the Cyphastrea. I hope you enjoy it and find it informative. Hold on. Okay, so here we are in front of the coral. Again, people that follow me know that this is the routine, this is what I usually do. I go ahead and I focus the coral. First of all, the Cyphastrea is one-of-a-kind type of coral when it comes to reef keeping. They are considered very hardy and come in many different type of color polyps and different base colors. In other words, in different strains, shall we call it. Okay, now they are considered LPS corals because if you look at it closely, you will see that on the base color out protrudes polyps like all the LPS. So it is under, shall we call it, under the umbrella of LPS corals. Now, it grows really fast and looks really good under a wide range of aquarium environments, and even sometimes looks even better under reduced or moderate lighting. Now, these corals are of an encrusting type. So what you're looking at there, eventually with the proper nutritions that I'm feeding the corals and on and on and on, and the water changes that I do bi-weekly, as I go along and I do like updates in general of the tank, you'll actually see the encrusting taking place. This coral I've had already, I'd say for about between 3 weeks or 4. Now, out of those 3 or 4 weeks, you have to consider, of course, the acclimation process. Because not only I acclimate everything, but I thought I mentioned this. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned it on previous videos. Not only do I acclimate drip method, but when you put corals and even fish and any type of animal, when you put them in your reef tank, not only did you acclimate it for the temperature, the salinity, the alk, Ca, magnesium, and all that, but at the same time, I mean, that's the initial acclimation, shall we call it, to get it into the tank. But then the actual acclimation that they really open up and they get used to the light spectrums and the flow and all that, that takes a little longer. So out of those 3 or 4 weeks, I would say maybe it really has settled down, maybe 2 or 2.5 weeks. Now, another thing that I thought I mentioned when it comes to these corals, when I did my research a couple of days ago, they are related to the Favia corals. In other words, they're related to the brain corals. So if you look, I'm going to see if I pan the camera to the side. Matter of fact, let me do that right now. Okay, let me pan it to the left and you'll see what I mean. Okay, here's what I'm talking about. This coral, where the yellow tang is, okay, that's considered a brain coral. So the Cyphastreas are considered within the family of these type of corals. Okay, now let's go into different basic stuff that you should know when it comes to this coral. First of all, the difficulty level. Well, when it comes to this coral, they're easy due to the tolerance of different types of light and water conditions. And then the next thing I thought I mentioned is feeding. They tend to accept meaty foods, like mice, shrimp, and all that, and also powdered foods, like what I put here, reefroids, and also phytofeeds from Reef Nutrition. Now let's go on to lighting. When it comes to lighting, they require moderate lighting with, I'd say, a par value within 150 to 250. So upon saying that, that means that you should either have it like where I have it now on the bottom, mid, and you can probably even bring him a little higher. Now, some specimens may even be seen growing on the underside of rocks as they creep up toward the light. Great coral for that shady spot near the bottom of your rocks, or even for the back wall of the aquarium. So, you know, like what I'm saying right now, not only should you keep them about like mid-level, I would say a little lower like where I have it here, but these corals, you can actually glue them to the back plate of your tank and they'll do phenomenal. Matter of fact, before I did this research, I checked other YouTubers, and there is a couple of them that they have Cyphastreas on the back panel of their aquarium, of their reef tank, and they have grown, I mean, exponentially, and they look very, very nice. Now, the next topic I thought I would be, explain would be the water flow. Well, they do accept low to moderate flow, and if you go back to some of my videos when I talk about flow, you'll see that in that area that I have the coral, the MP10 is on the opposite side. I brought it down to 65%. It was too much before, so I went ahead and brought it down. But when the water hits this plate on the right hand side, it goes straight down and then it comes back to the MP10. The same thing goes with the two exhausts coming out, the outlets. It also creates like a turbulent water flow coming down. So right there, matter of fact, when I clean the sand and I go ahead and I siphon the rocks in that area, you'll actually see the sand a little bit, it actually, streams towards the left, going towards the MP10. So that flow that you there is not moderate. I'd say it's a little less. And now another thing that I thought I'd talk about is placement. Okay, when it comes to these corals, lower light areas near the bottom of the rockwork is usually most suitable, although they will readily adapt to more light and higher placement. And that's totally true, because I have had some of these other Cyphastreas in upper levels and in higher parts, and they do phenomenally well. One thing that you have to consider, of course, is the acclimation. Like right now, I have my my photo period, I have it for 11 hours on the XR15 Pro. Now, the total brightness of all the channels is at 45, which means that, that light, that pot is very powerful, especially on a Nuvo 40, on a 40-gallon tank. The depth is not that much. So what I'm trying to say when I read this out of my bullet points, my outline, is that I cannot just, as you see it now, right down there, and then I go ahead, I bring it up all the way to the top. I can't do that. I would have to acclimate it, like bring it like mid-level, let's say for 1 or 2 weeks, and see how it behaves, how it reacts to that light. And then if I see that nothing's wrong, it's not bleaching or nothing, and the polyps are open up, then I go ahead and I can bring it a little higher. But yes, they can be acclimated to higher lights. And one thing that I learned, which is the new school of thought, and I've mentioned this on previous videos, is that any coral, I'm talking about any, I'm talking about soft to LPS, SPS, even acros, any coral properly acclimated, you can place them in any part of the tank. Again, any coral properly acclimated, you can place them in any part of the tank, as long as you don't mess around, with the lights, bringing them up and low and all that. And then one final point is this coral is considered starter coral for beginners due to its wide variety of lighting, like I mentioned before, in which it can be kept different water flows, thus making it placement easy. That's basically it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like, the thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel. And like I say on all the channels, right, on all the videos, right next to it, you'll see there's a little bell. That's the notification bell. So once you hit that, you activate the notifications on your device. So every time I upload a video, which is usually weekly, you'll be the first ones to know that Eddie's Reef Aquaria uploaded a video. So, like I say at the end of all of my videos, happy reefing, have a nice day, and until next time, bye-bye.